My name is Jen Cushman. I am an empathic intuitive. I am an energy practitioner. I do healing rejuvenation energy sessions, and I can do that distance or in person. I also am a breakthrough coach with neurolinguistic programming, mental emotional release, and hypnotherapy. And I'm trained and certified in all of that. Ultimately, I have a whole bunch of tools in my toolbox to help people release and clear the things that are no longer serving them in order to transition into living the life that they want to live. That's ultimately what I'm here to do. I do that with the support of my guides, my angels, my training, and I'm here for that purpose. Okay? Good. Now, today's topic is space cleaning and clearing. You guys, we all have beautiful homes. We get to live in our beautiful homes. Thank you, Kelly. So appreciate those kind words. Kelly says, and fabulous mentor. So we all have homes, right? And our homes are our havens, and sometimes they can be our challenge, particularly for my creative artsy people here. Raise your hands if you're a creative artsy people, myself included, right? And one of the things that happens is we like collections. We like to have things. We like to have supplies. We may have a little bit than our fair share. And so we may deal with a little bit of clutter. All of those things, all good things. You can reframe it and look at it as abundance. You have massive abundance in your life, and there's always a time to release things that are no longer serving us physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Release is a huge part of life. That ability to let go, the ability to allow the energy to constantly be in motion so that you have creation energy, you have transformation energy, and you have completion energy. And our homes and our spaces are part of our physical space. That is our 3D manifestation of the spiritual life that we're leading. So one of the things that happens is in my office where you guys are now, what you see, this is my healing home office. Behind this right here is where I have a little jewelry studio, and I will do a little bit of jewelry behind there. But inside my house is where I'll do my wet medium and my other things. Now, in this office, I have a lot of space clearing here. I have grids, I have protection, I have a lot of things going on in here because this is where I do my work. Now, inside the house, I have space clearing, I have protection, I have blessings, I have all of those things. And I have that for myself, my husband, my daughter, my son when he comes to visit now, and for the people who are come into my world, that come into my house, which admittedly is very small. I keep my circle of people who come into the home very small. So, one of the things I hear over and over again from people is when they actually get in my physical space, they say to me, they're like, it just feels so good, right? I get that as feedback. They're like, it feels so good. It's so calm. It's so peaceful. Now, they don't use the word clean because I mean, I keep it picked up. I keep those kind of things, but, I'd rather be making crafts than cleaning, or I'd rather be reading or doing something. And it just has a sense of space about it, love. There's a lot of love in it. There's a lot of comfort in that. And that's what my home is. And one of the things I realized is I wanted to teach you all, what do I do to get that feeling, right? What do I do? And hopefully this can be helpful to you and you can use it for space cleaning and clearing. Okay, good. That's our topic today. Great. Now you're going to see me looking over. I have notes. I actually sat down this morning and I did prepare for this morning. So I have notes and I'll be referring to it to keep myself from squirreling and to teach the information that I want to teach. Okay. So the first thing I want to tell you is space clearing and cleaning is nothing new. Human beings, we have been doing this for century, tidying up our spaces, keeping it clean, organizing our stuff, protecting our stuff, locks on our doors. These are all modern day things that have come out of the desire, the innate human desire to want to clean and clear and protect our space. So in Native American cultures, they use drums, they use rattles, they burn sage. They do this in their rituals. They talk to their ancestors and they use these things to clean and prepare their home. So when you go to, if you've ever been to a Native American powwow where they actually make some of their rituals public, their dances, their ceremonies, it is such an incredibly beautiful thing to watch a Native American powwow. As a matter of fact, those of you that live in Arizona, the Matazal tribe here in Payson is going to be doing a free powwow this weekend, and it is open and available for people to come out and see them in their costume. They're not their costumes, their ritual, like that is their sacred garments, and doing their drumming and their chanting. It's incredible to watch. And if you watch it with a deeper knowing of that being the way they kept in touch with their ancestors, it's an incredible thing to watch and experience, right? So that's how Native Americans use it. In Eastern Asian traditions, there's a lot of gongs and chanting. In Buddhism, when you go into Buddhist temples and sacred temples, there is the monk in the yellow robe on the mat. There is the incense, there is the altar, there's the white Buddha, the green Buddha, the Buddhas. There's all of that stuff that is happening. And it is a way of them saying and claiming this is a sacred space. This is where we go. And then in Eastern traditions, they do chanting in order to clear and energize the space. Okay. They do the gongs. They do a lot of those things. In medieval Europe, where I go to France and I do soul stirring retreats. There's a lot of ancient, there's Protestant, Catholic, there's a lot of ancient, not ancient, but old religion there. So, right. So there's a lot of that. And in those traditions, they use salt and they use prayers, they use blessing, they use the priest. A lot of that stuff is happening. Middle East, they use smoldering resins like frankincense and myrrh to clean their homes and clear their energies. And then in Wiccan pagan traditions, salt is really, really, really prevalent in the homes for protection. Okay, a lot of salt around there to do protection. In Huna, in the spiritual traditions, the shamanistic traditions I'm being trained in, there is to salt the outside of our home. So I have a protection around the outside of the home, right? So, and then a lot of these still remain. They may be ancient, but they're familiar to us. Like, we have the image, like you can close your eyes. And if I tell you the word Catholic Church, you can close your eyes and you can see a big church, you can see mass, you can see the priests coming in and you can see them swinging the incense censers, right? And you see the incense swinting of all of those things. And that is cleaning and clearing. That's what the smoke is being used for protection. So we have that image in our mind. And then here's a really cool thing I was thinking about. Remember, it's kind of a superstition thing, but how many people do you know that if they spill the salt, if the salt gets spilled, they throw it over their left shoulder, like without even thinking about it? It's so much a part of their unconscious mind. They pick the salt up and they throw it over the left shoulder. Do you know why that's done? It's really interesting. It's a superstition. It's a thing that in Western cultures and other cultures and Christianity, that the devil is behind your left shoulder. So what they do is they throw the salt, the protection of the salt, over their left shoulder to blind the devil, right? So that's why it's being done. And it's funny how you do these things and you don't even question why we're doing them, because they're so steeped in cultural conditioning and our tradition. So those are just a little bit of history of space clearing and how long we've been using it. Now, I get this question a lot. When do you space clear? Like, when should I space clear? And I think what's really helpful for that is that you can space clear and clean anytime the energy starts to feel heavy. You know, if it feels heavy or it feels stuck, or let's say that you've been chewing on a problem for a long time and you just are needing clarity because you're in a downward spiral of a problem, you're mentally going down, something's really going on, and you just need to get that energy moved and cleared. Clearing and tidying your space is a great way to get that energy moving to bring fresh energy into your home. So when you're stuck, when you're having a problem, that's a great time to do it. Um, Also, if you're buying a property before construction starts, you should space clear, right? That's one of the things. You know, there's been instances where communities have been built on ancient indigenous cultures' bones, and there's been problems there. You know, you think about Poltergeist, it's October, right? What is one of the most classic movies? Poltergeist, which was that the house was built on bones, you know, and those bones were not carefully taken care of. And so that caused these problems, you know, that's the myth in the movies. So that's a good time to clear. If you're moving into a new home, you know, part of what we do is we pack up, we get excited, we buy a new home, we're getting ready. We forget to space clear. Now we may go in, we may paint, we may do all those kind of things, which is our part of doing it. And if you can go one step further and really use some of the stuff to clean and clear that space. If you have been sick, if you have had illness or anybody in your family has had a illness, we're getting into cold and flu season. So after you get over illness, great time to space clear. Okay. After a misfortune, so let's say that something just bad happened. You just had one of those really unfortunate misfortune event, you know, had a bad business investment. Something just really went wrong, you know, got in an accident. Like, let's say you were in an accident, your car was totaled. You know, Laura's on here right now. Laura had her brand new car burst into flames in front of her eyes. Laura, that would have been a great time afterward to clear your house and clear the energy of that, because that was a misfortune. That was a significant event that happened that created some residual negative energies, right? Some negative emotions, some negative thoughts, some sad thoughts, you know, all of those things, grief. Transition, whenever there's a death in the family, even if that family member did not pass away in your home, there still is the heaviness of the grief and the sadness from the transition. So it's a good time, not right away, but you know, give yourself some time, you know, a little bit of time after the loved one has passed away. Don't go too long, but you know, some days, a week or whatever, and go ahead and clear out the energy of that and just move that energy through. So those are times and reasons why you want to space clear. Now, for me, I am actually getting ready to do this week in my house. And the reason why is because winter is coming. We have gone down to where it has gotten really cold. We can't have the windows and doors open anymore. We are getting into the season where we're going to be shutting everything up. And I'm going to be going months and months and months with the windows closed and shut. Just like in when I lived in the valley, when I lived in Phoenix, we would actually go months and months and months on end in Phoenix where doors and windows were shut and the air conditioning was running consistently. That's recirculating air. When that same air is being recirculated and you don't get to open up your doors and windows and allow the fresh air to come in, it's a good time to think about space clearing. So I know winter is coming, so I'm going to do this process myself. Okay. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to get rid of the clutter. Well, I'm going to talk about that next. That is preparation. Okay. So I'll talk about that. Now, I was asking, I was Googling this, or I was remembering actually, like, when is also the most auspicious time to space clear? And believe it or not, it's really right after the waxing full moon. So you have the full moon. We talk about this a lot, that the full moon is about release. And then you have the release, and then the energy is in the release. And if you come in and space clear after the release, it's almost like coming in and sweeping up the crumbs. Okay. So the full moon clears emotionally. We release the things that we need to release for the month. So then we can get really clear and then we can get ready, because after the full moon, you're getting into the waxing before it gets into the new moon, right? So it's like cleaning up the crumbs. Also, believe it or not, one of the most auspicious times to clear is first thing in the morning. So if you can get up, you can have your cup of coffee or your tea, and you can get straight to work, and you can get to picking, tidying up your house, clearing your house, burning your sage or incense, excuse me, whatever you do. Mornings are actually energetically, cosmically, they are actually the best time of day to space clear, is first thing in the morning. Okay. Okay, good. I know you guys are being quiet and you're listening. Please, this is the part where I don't know if you're still here. So if you can give me a thumbs up or a heart and just let me know that you're following me, and let me know if this is helpful. Okay, so I really am just trying to be helpful. That's what I want to do with you guys. Thank you. I love you all so much. Thanks for that part. Okay, so we're good to move on? Okay, we're going to move on. Great. So now we know how space clearing came about. We know when to space clear. We know why we're space clearing. And now let's get to the how to space clear. Okay. So space clearing, right? Cleaning, clearing, whatever you want to call it, really has 4 steps to the process. Oh, good, good. Susan says she's going to be cleaning this week and she'll do it first thing now. So that's awesome. Good. So there's 4 stages to space clearing, and this is the how that I want to give you. These are the actual steps, and these are the steps that I use myself personally. So I am sharing with you not just advice I read in a book, but advice that I use every single time I get ready to energetically space clear. Not cleaning my house, not those things, but energetic clearing. This is how I do it. Okay. So the first stage is preparation. The second stage is purification. The third stage is invocation. And then the fourth stage is preservation. Okay, so preparation, purification, invocation, and preservation is what they are. So in the first stage of preparation is exactly what you think about. It's where you want to kind of get your tools together. You want to start thinking about it. You want to have clarity of what you want, what you're trying to clean out, what you want to clean in, have an intention, and just prep for it. So you want to have clarity of intention. You want to prep your space before you energetically clear. So for me, that means I need to declutter, right? I need to throw away the mail. I need to, maybe get rid of the cups and glasses that seem to multiply. I don't know. Things just, I don't know. Things just like to procreate in my house. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? We just have, I don't know, 1 coffee cup turns into 2 coffee cups, turns into 7 coffee cups. And then next thing you know, I have so many coffee cups. I don't know what to do with them. It just happens. It's like magical procreation in my house and my things. So I don't know. That's a whole different, that's a whole different Magic Mondays topic. Okay. So it's decluttering, it's decleaning, clearing, just getting rid of the extra stuff. And then it's also just making sure that I'm clear on my intention. So I want to check in and I want to make sure that I'm good. I do not ever want to energetically clear my house when I'm an emotional mess. Okay. Now, to be fair, I rarely am an emotional mess anymore. I've done my work. And when my stuff comes up, I clean it and clear it. I release it instantly. And I have blind spots. I'm human, so I have blind spots. I have my friends that help me find the blind spots. Okay. But I want to make sure that I am in a very good space. I am calm. I am clear. I am grounded, all of those things. And so I check in with myself before I get ready to do it. So I'm like, okay, check in. Is this a good time to do this? Okay. If I'm feeling a little off, something's there, and I'm like, what's that about? What's that emotion about? What's that pain about? What's that thought about? What do I need to do in order to release it so I can get into the space I need to clear it? Because remember, whatever energy that you have inside of you, you're living in that energy and you are putting that energy into your home. Now, if you're wanting to clean and clear it out, you're going to want to make sure your home has clean and clear energy. So it starts with you. Remember, as above, so below, as within, so without. Okay. So space clearing, as within, so without. Okay. And then also make sure that when you're getting ready, you're physically clean and clear. You've taken a shower. I mean, I know a lot of us are like, well, I'm going to get dirty cleaning the house. Why do I need to take a shower now? This is energetic clearing, which is different than physical clearing. You've already done the physical clearing. Now you're getting ready to do the energetic clearing. So, take your shower, have clean hair, do the things you need to do, be clean on physically as well. Then what I want you to do is, before you even begin in preparation, just activate your intuition. It's really important. And the way we always, the way we begin activation of our intention is to sit in quiet. Okay. Now I call it sit in meditation. You can call it a quiet practice. You can call it whatever what you want to do, but it's where you get outside of the realm of busy life. Take a few minutes and get calm, clear, centered, and grounded. That's how we activate our intuition. That is when we are basically saying, universe, guides, angels, ancestors, whatever, I am ready for the energy of intuition. I'm ready to tap into that feminine, divine goddess, flow cycle within me, because that's where my intuition lies. Okay. Now, the next thing that happens, you need to check into this. This is a sometimes for me, sometimes not for me. And it depends on what's going on, depends on how many people have been in my house, depends on if we've gone through a rocky area where life has just thrown a lot of curveballs at us, or if we're in a calm period. So this is a step that you got to check into. So the next one is, you may need to protect yourself. Okay, so you may need to put some protection around yourself before you even energetically clear. And that again is depending on your space. If you're sharing space with a roommate, if you have other people, if you have, something else coming in, you may need protection. If you're just in your own home and it's just you and the people you live with, you don't normally need to do this. Now, if you're space clearing your office and you actually are taking your cubicle, or you're doing your work, or you're doing somewhere where you are actually around other people and you're going to be doing this quietly, always, always bubble up and protect yourself. What does it mean to bubble up? It means you put a white light of bubble around you. You actually bubble it, or you put a cloak around you, whatever your protection practice is, that's what you do. Okay. And then another step is, depending on where you are, if you're just doing normal space clearing, or if you're actually doing it because of a ritual or an event or something, then you can have an altar and a blessing. And so the altar is just a space to go to say, this is where I'm containing my intentions. This is what I'm setting up. Some people set up a spring, summer, fall, winter altar. They take their altars down and put them back up. So altar, again, that's a personal thing, whether you want to do that. Oh, and that just reminded me when I did something. I want to go back to when to space clear. Another time that you want to space clear is if you've got a I want to say a ritual, but it's not a ritual, like a wedding, a birth, you know what I mean? Like if there's something going on, a transition, like a natural transition in life, a graduation, again, the bridal shower, the people that did the bridal shower, they did all the preparations this week to have a beautiful bridal shower. They're not energetic beings. So they didn't clean their house energetically. And when I walked into it, I felt it, because they don't ever clean their house energetically. A beautiful clean house, but they don't energetically do it because they don't believe in it and they don't know it. And I, being energetically sensitive, could feel the sticky spots, right? I could feel the yucky spots, the sticky spots. I could feel where it hangs out. I knew where to sit and where I didn't want to go. And I could just feel it, because they never energetically clear their house. Okay. If it were me and I was going to be hosting a shower, I would have energetically cleared that space before the shower and energetically cleared it after the shower. Okay. Okay. So preparation is the first part. Purification, have your tools ready, so have everything ready. So when you're in the middle of it, you don't have to jump up and go get something. Attune, here's where we go, purification. This is when you're actually doing the clearing now. So you attune yourself by standing in the center of the room. So when I clear the space, I go in the very center of the room and I am the center and I see myself as the center of the circle and everything is radiating around the circle. So I clear that. Okay, I stand and I attune it. And then what I want to do is I want to radiate my intention, right? Clean, clear, grounded, whatever. And I put it in my heart chakra and I radiate it out and I radiate it 360 degrees around me. Okay, so I start radiating my intention, radiating that love and that light, radiating that clearing. I sensitize my hands, which means that you can just warm up your hands a little bit, right? So you can do that or you can attune them. If you're a Reiki master, you just go ahead and put your symbols on your hands to attune them. If you're not Reiki, you just go ahead and warm them up. It's the intention that's important. And then what I do is I start taking my hand and I start rotating that energy clockwise. And then I just start the clearing process of that. And then what happens is I can feel where the energy is stagnant. I can feel the black spots, the dark spots, the sticky spots, the yucky spots. And then when I go there and I need to break up the energy, I can break up the energy by just set the intention and just say, guides and angels help me, break up the energy. Or I just like see it breaking up, like I see it being whatever it is, like a black spot or whatever, and I see it crumbling and opening and breaking it up. So I break up all the spots in the energy all around the room, ceiling, floor, right? Break it all up. And then I go ahead and then I'll smooth it out. I'll just take my hands. I do like this. I clean it out again, shake out my hands, do that kind of stuff, come back together in prayer position, in Reiki, it's called Gasso, the Gasso position, and then come back in Gasso prayer position. And then I go in and I smooth it out. And smoothing it out, it's kind of like if you pet a cat, you know how you'll pet a cat from the top of the head through the tail, and then it'll arch and it'll go all the way up. You just smooth the room out. And then you just smooth out any of the bump spots, and just smooth the energy. So that's the purification. And then I'm trying to hurry because it's a lot of information and I want to get to card pulls. So then we go to the invocation, which is after the space is completely cleared and clean, I go ahead and invoke the blessings. So I ask again, I ask my, my guides, my guardian angels, my ancestors, everyone to please bring their energy in, their loving, kind energy to bring it in and help. So I invoke the blessings of the room. I bless each of the household member. So I'll invoke blessings for myself, for Greg, for my daughter, for all of the things. So I invoke the blessings. And then I will say out loud, I will say safe, protected, healthy, and well. Safe, protected, healthy, and well. And then you can return to the altar and do a little bit more work if you want. If you don't do an altar, that's fine. And then you can just, out loud, one of the things is that I just say at the end of it after filling all the space up with the room. And of course, at this, I'm also using incense or sage. So I've gone around the room and also used sage with my hands. It's, at some point in here, wherever it is, I'll sage the whole entire place too. Or Palo Santo, whatever you want to be able to clear it. And then after I invoke the blessings of each person, I say, and so it is out loud. And that is just my way of affirming that the work that has been done has been done. Okay. And then I also, I envision, before I say so it is, I envision the final outcome. In my mind, I close my eyes. I see exactly what I want. I see my family coming in home. I see them happy, having a safe space to land. I see them feeling comfortable. I see love. So I envision my final outcome, keep it in there, and then say, and so it is. Finish the energy, and then just go ahead. I just take 3 deep breaths, calm down, just not really calm down, but just breathe the energy down so it's grounded, make sure I'm grounded. And then I immediately tidy up my tools and I put my sacred tools away. And then the very last thing I do is I go under the water and I wash my hand under cold water and I completely wash and clear my hands. Okay. And then the other thing, just to make sure you know, is all of your household members, anybody who's living in the house, make sure that night they take a shower because they need to clean themselves as well for the energy. Again, it's just like dusting off all the crumbs. So take a shower. If you've gone through a really challenging time, again, if there's been a misfortune, a death, sadness, negative emotions, really heavy kind of things going on, or if you've had illness, make sure you take either a salt bath or a salt shower, okay? Because that's what helps clear it. It's the salt. Remember, I was talking about the salt at the beginning of it. And then, so that's the preservation. The preservation part is the shower and the salt. And then I just want to leave you with two more things and I'll be done. It was a long Magic Mondays today. Is that a few other things you can do for the preservation is if you're a Reiki person, you can draw the Reiki symbols on your doors and windows, right? And then that way it preserves it. If you're not a Reiki person, you can just draw your symbols on it. Like houses and hearts are big for me. So I can just draw a heart on my door and draw it on my windows. You know, you can take your hand, excuse me, and draw a symbol. The other thing you do is you can also, you can write out your intention, put it on a piece of paper, and then bury it in your favorite plant. And then that way, what you're doing is you're just basically doing a little ritual that tells, the universe that I want this intention to grow, right? So that's kind of a way to do it is you just piece of paper, you can water that paper, it'll disintegrate, and then you're just putting that good intention in, okay? Okay, that is all the information I have to share. I really hope that this how-to was helpful for you. I get a lot of questions when I'm doing my in-person retreats. I get so many questions from people about how do I energetically stay clean and clear, and that is how I do it. So I wanted to share you guys with the community the how-to on that. Those are all the steps.